Planet Dolan.
From bizarre milkshake orders to a gang of furries attacking Walmart, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts more of the best true stories from our subreddit about the weirdest things that happen to us at work. My name is Nixium, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Dancing City 2010. Honeybits once worked as a housekeeper at a local hotel. She really loved the job, at least until she met the infamous hotel flasher. The flasher was a long-term guest with a lot of money. When he saw Honeybits, he came over and asked what time she'd be cleaning his room. When she arrived, he answered the door wearing a frighteningly short robe. Honeybits tried to ignore this and started cleaning, but when Honeybits' back was turned, the flasher slipped out of his robe. He asked Honeybits about her day, and when she turned to answer, he was buck naked, bending over. The sight of his bare ass made her scream, and she ran out of the room. Her manager later laughed and said, "Oh yeah, forgot to warn ya. That guest does that all the time." Honeybits did not stay at that job for long. Number 9 was submitted by Kitty Love Rose, 16. The strangest thing that happened to Ladybot happened when she was working at a bar. One night, Ladybot asked an older woman what she wanted to drink, and the woman said, "breadsticks." Thinking she was joking, Ladybot laughed and asked if she wanted breadsticks and water. With a straight face, the woman said she wanted a breadstick milkshake. Later that night, Ladybot was checking on another table when she noticed the woman was ripping up her breadsticks, dipping them in water, and then eating them. By the end of the night, she ordered lots of breadsticks, but no proper food. Ladybot has never met anybody else who loved breadsticks that much. Number 8 was submitted by Hope for Freedom, 1331. One time, Tullup was working the night shift at a gas station when a strange man walked in. The man walked right up to the counter and said, "Hey, you got any, microwave food?" Tullup nervously pointed to the frozen section, and after 20 minutes, the guy returned with a pack of microwavable mac and cheese. As Tullup processed the sale, he discovered the credit card the guy was using was stolen, and worried that the guy might be dangerous. Suddenly, out of nowhere, 20 police cars showed up outside of the store. Some officers came in shouting, "Hands where we can see them!" The weird customer suddenly pulled a gun on Tullup, but Tullup shouted, "Fuck no!" and kicked the gun out of the guy's hand. The cops swooped in and arrested the man. Although Tullup was a hero, he was so freaked out that he quit the job the next day. Number 7 was submitted by Unknown Monk E. Pringle's last job, for a lack of a better word, was kind of shitty. He worked customer service in a busy fast restaurant. He didn't really enjoy his job and decided to quit on a day he called Poopapalooza. Poopapalooza was the day his restaurant experienced a terror attack. Only instead of explosives, Pringle's restaurant was subject to 5 separate poo attacks. In one day, Pringle had to enter the men's room 3 times and the woman's room twice to clean up customers' shit, which had been smeared all over the toilet walls. Pringle isn't sure if Poopapalooza was planned or a random coincidence, but it inspired him to quit. Talk about your shitty day of work. Number 6 was submitted by CzarPeterIII. Dean the Time Wanderer was 16 when he got his first job at Walmart. He saw lots of weird stuff in this job, but the strangest thing by far was when a gang of furries came in. Dean was innocently talking to a coworker when 15 people wearing fursuits came in, riding on shopping carts. They swore, and they shouted, and they knocked stuff over. When Dean's boss tried to get them to settle down, they tackled him to the ground. After causing a huge mess, they eventually got bored and left, but not before buying 20 cans of cat food on their way out. Number 5 was submitted by Executive Decisions. When he's not being a Planet Dolan superstar, Zaragamba likes to work construction. For one of his recent jobs, he had to demolish an old house from the 60s. Other than some questionable design choices, the house seemed totally normal. That is until Zaragamba started knocking down the bedroom walls. It turned out the walls were filled with hundreds of severed heads and limbs. Zaragamba almost screamed, until he realized the disturbing body parts were just creepy baby doll parts. He doesn't know who the hell put doll parts in the wall, but it definitely gave him a good scare. Number 4 was submitted by Kane, 1992. Emoji has seen some weird shit working the late shift at McDonald's, but there's one memory that she has never forgotten. It was a quiet night, and Emoji was working the drive-thru window. There weren't many customers coming in, and by 2 o'clock, it started to get really foggy outside. Suddenly, Emoji noticed a strange old woman in white emerging from the fog. It was so dark it looked like she had no face. The woman, she walked slowly up the drive-thru to the service window, but instead of speaking, she made these weird moaning noises, like a whale call. The woman had been making really slow movements, until all of the sudden, she started pounding her fists against the drive-thru window. Emoji was terrified and ran into the supply room. Her manager came out and told the woman to leave, or else it would call the cops. Emoji is still haunted by the image of the woman eerily disappearing into the fog. Number 3 was submitted by Pandora Fox. Doopy used to work at a busy bar near a railway station. One afternoon, she was cleaning and restocking the bar when a guy came in to have a few drinks while waiting for his train. He was finishing his drinks quickly, so Doopy came over to take his empty glasses away. Suddenly, the guy started talking to her and held out his hand. Doopy thought he wanted to shake her hand or maybe give her a tip. But instead, he grabbed Doopy's arm and licked from her wrist to her elbow. Doopy was so grossed out, but she decided to get a little payback. She looked at him and said sarcastically,
"Thanks for that, but I've just spent all afternoon cleaning and scrubbing and emptying the bins, and I haven't had time to wash my hands yet."
The guy was so disgusted that he had just ingested bin juice that he puked all over the carpet. Luckily, the manager gave Doopy a break and cleaned it up, which meant Doopy was free to watch Judge Judy for the rest of her shift. Number 2 was submitted by FluffyMangoRock. One day, Dolan was innocently stocking shelves at his grocery store when he noticed a customer walking by, mumbling to himself. The customer spotted Dolan and swooped in, coming uncomfortably close to Dolan's face. Then, looking around to see if anybody was looking, the customer leaned in and whispered into Dolan's ear, "Do you know where I could find some peanut butter?" Dolan was freaked out, but managed to point him in the right direction. The man whispered, "Thanks," and then walked away. But before he reached the end of the aisle, he turned back, put a finger to his lips, and whispered, "Don't tell anyone." Dolan vows to take this weird peanut butter secret with him to the grave. And number 1 was submitted by me. Now, I have been self-employed for most of my life, but I did work as a cashier at one point at a place called Harris Teeter. And at Harris Teeter, which is a grocery store, I remember one time my manager told me to go and clean the men's bathroom in the back. So, I got my mop, I got my bucket, and I got my broom and all that crap, and I went to the back room. I opened up the bathroom door, and there he was, my coworker, sitting on the toilet, masturbating. I looked at him and I said, "Hey there, Robert." And he looked at me and said, "Oh, hey there, Nixium." So I closed the door, and I went to my manager and said, "Yeah, bathroom is preoccupied right now. I'll clean it later." Me and Robert never spoke about that again, because it was really freaking weird. He also had a really small penis. Okay, so a huge thanks to the folks over at our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. But we have another question for you. What's a time that somebody refused to help you? Let us know in the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown.
This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thank you for the support, guys.
The grave calls to me, I'm afraid. But don't worry, I shall return.